maybe this is just the kind of book that you don't binge. They're just gaslighting her every step of the way. They're like the epitome of the it's complicated Facebook relationship status. Chef's freaking kiss. Hi everyone, welcome back to This Book Belongs to Pam. Today's video is a little bit exciting and scary for me. I'm gonna try reading like Jan AGATON. Now, if you don't know Jan, she is also a booktuber. She creates nerdy bookish videos, and I just really love her style, her aesthetic, and she reads very different books from me, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to do this video. I wanted to try going out of my comfort zone a little bit and read more books that aren't the usual suspect. I'm gonna link Jan's channel below. Be sure to check her out because she creates lots and lots of reading vlogs and fun bookish content. Based on my extensive research, aka watching all of Jan's videos, I have created the list of books that Jan has either given 5-star ratings to or has really raved about, or a book that made her feel a lot of things. 2 of these books are actually recommendations from Jan herself. We'll see which books those are a little bit later on. The first book that I'm going to be reading for this challenge is a book that made Jan sob.
This is the saddest book I've ever fucking read.
That book is We Spread by Ian Reid. I have literally no idea what this book is about, so let's check this out. Let's see what the blurb is. Okay, I did not expect that kind of story based on this cover. It looks like it's a thriller. Is it a thriller? I guess we'll find out. So yeah, this is 296 pages long, so it's not that long. First book for this challenge, We Spread by Ian Reid. I'm so sorry. Hi everyone. I know I look rough. It's 9 p.m. and I actually read a good chunk of the book while I was outside. So I went out to work at a cafe because our Wi-Fi is not working. Our internet is down and I have a day job, so I had to find ways to get some Wi-Fi because my data is not gonna cut it. I read up to page 190 of We Spread, and I am actually like blazing through this book. It's very quick to read because there's not a lot of narration, there's a lot of dialogue, and I think that really, you know, helps in just speeding it up. Like, look at this page. That's just conversation. It doesn't say a lot of I say, he said, she said. It doesn't use a lot of that. It's just straight up just the dialogue, which I appreciate. When I was updating my tracker, it's actually horror, and I didn't know that it was horror, but yeah, I can definitely feel the horror vibes here because I actually have no idea what this person, Shelly, the owner of the care facility, is doing. She's kind of like a mad scientist type of person, and I feel like she's experimenting on them, but we don't know anything yet. Oh, have I even told you what this book is about? Okay, so this book is about Penny. Penny is quite old. She is a widow and she's an artist. One day she was changing a bulb and she fell and hit her head. When she woke up, she was being assisted by her landlord, and basically her landlord Mike is saying that she, Penny, and her partner, who already passed away, made a plan ahead of time for Penny to stay at this care facility. She just gets whisked away into this care facility with just the bare minimum of her belongings. She didn't really have a choice. Everyone was just saying that, oh, you need the help, you can't be alone, you're old, you need assistance, blah blah blah, and they're just ignoring her opinion every step of the way. So now she's in this care facility, which is quite odd because there's only like 3 other old people in there. There's one, like the owner, Shelly, and then there's like a caretaker named Jack. And they basically run the entire care facility, just the 2 of them, and they have this very weird routines and they're not allowed to ask too many questions, so it's all very hush-hush and it's all very creepy. They're just gaslighting her every step of the way. Right now things are starting to like unravel in a bit because Penny made friends with one of the old people that's also in the facility named Hilbert. They're basically trying to revolt against the system in small ways by just doing things out of routine, because they're starting to lose their memory in a sense that the days are blending together. It's like they're just living for the present. They don't remember much about the past. They don't make any plans for the future because, you know, they're being taken care of and everything. So yeah, I think I'm gonna finish this tonight. I am really enjoying it. The first few chapters of this book was very difficult to read because Penny was just talking about how it's like being alone, aging, seeing your body change, seeing how you lose yourself a bit because you lose interest in the things that used to make you so fiery and passionate. You start to just not want to do anything and not derive joy from anything, especially since she's alone. So it's very sad. I finished reading Respread around like 30 minutes ago, and I really enjoyed the open-ended ending. I didn't expect it to be quite philosophical. It wasn't really horror in terms of imagery. It's more of like horror in terms of thoughts. Does that make any sense? You know how when you get into this spiral of thinking about very existentialist, deep philosophical questions, and sometimes you are overcome with horror because you don't understand a lot of things in this world, and that kind of horror, I think this book perfectly encapsulated that in less than 300 pages, and I really like that. Yeah, and I think it was really well done. That was quite a surprising read. I was expecting something like a thriller, but it felt more like philosophical horror. Before I jump into the next book that I'm reading for this vlog, I want to open some packages. Yeah, I know what this is. Look at this. It's an actual wax seal. Okay, let's open it. It's like an author card. Aww, she hand wrote a short little thank you message. The actual bookmarks. So this is the first design. It's a stack of like old vintage looking books with this crystal like foil. The next one is To the Moon and Never Back. I like that. Ooh, that is shiny. So yeah, I got a book. Ready? This is the edge. And it's Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. This is one of Jan's ultimate favorite books. She has like 1 million copies of this, so it's perfect for this video. So I thought, why not? Hi everyone, good morning. Today is Tuesday. I have started reading A Certain Hunger by Chelsea G. Summers. I haven't read too far. I think I've read about maybe like 20 pages or so, and it's starting off really interesting. It's really already setting the stage for what happened, and we're just trying to sort of piece together exact details. I'm not quite sure if I like the writing style or not. It's very ornate and flowery. Like it's not flowery to the point that it's annoying, kind of like these Violet Delights. That was annoying to read. This one is still intriguing. I didn't realize that it was so short. Like it was less than 300 pages as well. So I might just finish that today. So yeah, that is the update. I'm just gonna edit first and then I will read again. I need to charge my iPad. Okay. Morning! Days since I last spoke to you. I am now at page 113 of A Certain Hunger, or that's like 43%, and I am really enjoying it. When I first started reading it, I couldn't really get into it because the writing style of the author is very flowery, like really flowery, not necessarily in a bad way, but in a way where there's a lot of things you need to wade through to actually understand clearly what the author is trying to say, which is At first, it was quite tiring to read, but as soon as you get to know a little bit more about the character that you're reading from, it seems like the character is addressing you as the reader. There's a lot of talk about food because our main character is a food critic and she is writing to you from prison. She has been convicted of murdering her ex-lovers, and she was also charged with desecrating their corpses because she eats them, like eats a piece of her ex-lovers. That is like the very unhinged introduction to our main character, Dorothy. Throughout those stories, those very ridiculous stories that she tells you, there are moments there where she talks about feminism, about what it means to be female in this society. I highlighted a couple of things. The lifestyle section exists to prescribe a standard of living to which ordinary people should aspire and ultimately fail. The only people to whom a lifestyle comes naturally are the very rich or the exceptionally famous. Everyone else is just trying to hard scrabble an existence about which they don't feel an unendurable level of shame. And then another thing is, I learned that being female is as prefab, thoughtless, soulless, and abjectly capitalist as a Big Mac. It's not important that it's real. It's only important that it's tasty. Yeah, so there are like so many moments like that. Because her character is a writer, she just has this way with words, and she also often compares situations, feelings, emotions to food. The way she describes food and her experience of eating food, it's very visceral. It feels like you could actually not really taste the food, but like get a good sense of what that specific food is gonna make you feel. So I really like that part about this. Seems like me and Jan are on the same wavelength when it comes to books so far. Still a lot more to come. I think this is gonna be a win. So yeah. Hi everyone. It is very early. It's about like 4:40 in the morning. But I just wanted to do a quick update before I head out for a work thing that I'm going to. I finished reading A Certain Hunger by Chelsea G. Summers, and it was a really wild ride. The writing style really grew on me, and by the end of it, I really felt like the author did a really good job at juxtaposing food and the experience of eating, of devouring something, with her experiences with her ex-lovers. And it was such an interesting thing to read. There were lots of commentary on feminism, on being a woman, on what it means to really work your ass off, be in an industry that's being slowly, well, not really slowly, but being kind of erased by the internet. And there's also an interesting discussion on how food critiquing landscape is very different from before the internet versus now. In the past, you would only really see critiques and reviews in like magazines, and I guess there's this snobbish air to it. Food critics of the past, like pre-internet, would really go out of their way to disguise themselves as regular customers to make sure that they get the average person's experience. When they visit the restaurants, they go to the restaurants at least 3 times to really check for the consistency of quality. She's kind of saying that there's this inauthenticity in the way that food reviews are being done now, because people just want to be famous, people just want to kiss ass to chefs so that they get free food, free things, and it's just an interesting thing to point out. I'm still wrapping my head around whether or not I like the ending. I definitely enjoyed my time reading this book. Now I'm gonna start a new book. It's actually gonna be an audiobook because I am traveling today for work, and the travel time is about like 3 to 4 hours. I want to listen to an audiobook. I am finally diving into Sally Rooney and reading Normal People, listening to Normal People. This is one of Jan's recommendations when I asked her which book I should read. So I've never read any Sally Rooney. I have no idea how she writes. I think it's like a hit and miss with people. It just depends on your vibe, I guess. It is Monday today. I think my last clip was around like Saturday morning-ish. I fully intended to read and update you guys throughout the weekend. And And I was planning to read after this work event that I had to go through, and we were staying overnight, and we had a lot of free time, but we ended up deciding to go on a night out on Saturday, and things just didn't happen the way I planned it to. So I spent the rest of Sunday just recuperating, getting back home. Let me just update you quickly what little reading I managed to do during that trip. Saturday morning, I started the audiobook for Normal People. I wanted to listen to it during the 4-hour car ride. I don't know, but I couldn't get into the audiobook. Like, I listened to 14% of it, but nothing stuck on my head. Like, I have no idea what the names of the people are. I have no idea what there are like key scenes that I remember, but I have no idea how they're all connected. Like, I seriously, as soon as I stopped playing the audiobook, I forgot everything. It's a pretty short read, so I might just actually read it from my Kindle, my iPad at least. So I have the ebook here from the library, and it says here that it's 289 pages. So I think I'm just gonna read it physically because I really could not focus in the audiobook. I don't know why. I'm gonna update you later once I get to maybe halfway point of the book, because I honestly have no idea what the book is about still. I'm gonna start reading now. Sorry for the unhinged update. I'm currently at page 249 of Normal People, which is 88% of the way. And I don't know how I feel about this one. It talks a lot about very realistic issues in a very realistic way, in a sense where the characters themselves don't really know what to make of their situations, their emotions, their internal turmoil. And we, the readers, are not really given any other context, any other clues. It's kind of like Sally Rooney's trying to make us sort of experience what the characters are experiencing as they experience them without any additional information. So we're kind of just really along for the ride, and I really enjoy that kind of storytelling because it does create this very appropriate atmosphere for the topics that the book is discussing. So I don't even think I told you what Normal People is about, but I feel like a lot of people already know this book. But we are essentially following two characters, Connell and Marian. They are both in the same school. Their families are intertwined in a way because Connell's mother, Lorraine, works for Marian's family as their house cleaner. So they've known each other for a long time. They went to the same school together. They even went to the same college. And they're sort of just within each other's orbit, They can never really fully get away from each other in many ways, like physically, emotionally, sexually even, and things just don't work for them. They're like the epitome of the it's complicated Facebook relationship status. Through them, we are sort of witnessing really a lot of the things that young adults or even just people in general experience, especially when it comes to their mental health and just, insecurities or even anxieties about living and life in general. Like, I enjoy it in that aspect, but the read itself is not enjoyable. Does that make sense? I appreciate all of the conversations. I'm really engaged in those conversations, but I'm not really enjoying the book. I'm not dying to pick up the book, which is why it's taking me so long to read it, even though it's only less than 300 pages. It's taking me 3 days. It's not the kind of book where you sort of binge read. It's the kind where you kind of digest bits and pieces of it, because it does make you think a lot. So I guess in that sense, it's a very intriguing book. So that's my thoughts so far. I'm gonna circle back once I'm done, which is gonna be tonight. I am making it a mission to finish this tonight. I'm gonna do it. Okay, I'm gonna finish this tonight. Hi everyone. I have not been updating as much as I should. I don't know, I feel like Normal People sort of put me not really in a slump because I did finish the book. I'm done with it, by the way, Normal People. I finished it yesterday. But I don't know, I just haven't been feeling the pull to read, which sucks because I have sorry, I'm already getting dizzy. Which sucks because I have a lot of books that I want to read still. Haven't been in the mood to really vlog, like set up the camera and all, and that sucks because I really want to make like a good video and make sure that it's interesting. But here I am. Let me just share with you what I plan to read next, because it is an interesting one. It's a book that I have been wanting to read for a long time now, and Jan definitely loves this book. It's about like 300 pages or so it's not that long, so hopefully I can also finish this quickly. But I don't know, I just haven't been in that big reading mood. Today is the 30th. Still have a lot of work to do in my day job, in my freelance. Maybe that's why I haven't been feeling in the reading mood, because there's just so much that I need to do. Okay, gotta start reading now. Okay, I do not want this to be a spoilery vlog. I'm only at page 14, but I just want to share this line. This is just directly after Constanta, the narrator, has been turned into a vampire. You swept your hands over my cheeks, cupping my face, taking me in. The intensity of your attention was staggering. At the time, I would have called it proof of your love, burning and all-consuming. But I've grown to understand that you have in you more of the scientist obsessed than the lover possessed, and that your examinations lend themselves more towards the scrutiny of weakness, imperfection, any detail in need of your corrective care. Scientist obsessed than the lover possessed. Chef's freaking kiss. That's such an amazing line. I can see why everyone's really raving about the writing in this book, because that was intense. Okay, I'm gonna read some more. I think this is reviving my reading mood, which is awesome. Awesome. Okay, I'm gonna update you again later. You did not let me keep my name, so I will strip you of yours. In this world, you are what I say you are, and I say you are a ghost, a long night's fever dream that I've finally woken up from. I say you are the smoke-whisked memory of a flame, thawing eyes suffering under an early spring sun, a chalk ledger of debts being wiped clean. I say you do not have a name. Damn. Okay, this is so good.
Several months later.
I finally started reading Addie, which is the final book for this vlog. I'm reading this because I know that this is Jan's like ultimate favorite books. I feel like she has a million copies of this, like editions. I definitely have to read this for this reading like Jan AGATON vlog. I am literally, like, if you can see my bookmark, I'm literally at the end of chapter 1. And my heart is already like breaking from Addie said her like superstitious line. Is this book gonna break me? It has something to do with memory loss. It just always gets to me. I'm gonna continue reading. It's a big one. Like, it's small but it's chunky, and I hope I can finish it within the next couple of days, so I can finally wrap up this video that I've been filming since, I don't know, 6 months ago, and finally see what the hype is all about. Hi everyone. It's been a while. Very slowly going through Addie, but it's not really because the book is not good. I like it so far, but it's because I've started playing Coral Island again. Version 1.0 was released, I think, a couple of days ago, and it is taking over my life. But I'm trying, I think I got that initial excitement out, and now I can actually go back into a proper routine. So I am gonna be reading this morning. I have Jamie Slimery's sprints on screen right now. She's doing sprints on Twitch, so I'm gonna be reading with her until the end of her sprint. I am currently at page 85, which is, I guess, chapter 15. So far, I am enjoying the very descriptive, very emotive language that V. Schwab uses in this book. It's very easy to imagine where Addie is, what she's feeling, her internal turmoil. I'm like loosely tabbing this book. I have like couple of times, mostly just for like beautiful writing that I've been seeing. And I'm really enjoying that. It is on the slow side, however. So I don't know if I might get tired of this later on, but so far, at page 80 something, what did I say? 85, I am enjoying it. There's a cat in the bookstore named Gold. Oh my god, that is so cute. Hi everyone, good morning. So I am still in the midst of The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. You're just gonna have to ignore the outside noise because I'm not gonna close the door. I need the air. I am currently at page 138, and yes, I have been tabbing it. And so far, I'm still really enjoying it. I really love the imagery that V.E. Schwab is giving us with New York. I've never really had the desire to visit New York until I started reading this book. I don't know, I feel like V.E. Schwab just does a great job at making you feel like you're in the moment that she's describing, like you're a part of the story. And now I want to go to New York and just like walk around. There are a couple of lines here on page 95 that I really loved because it kind of encapsulates the way I feel about some of my favorite places to visit. A city she can consume as hungrily as she likes, devour it every day and never run out of things to eat. It is the kind of place that takes years to visit, and still there always seems to be another alley, another set of steps, another door. I really love that because it just encapsulates the whole feeling of discovering places that you've always lived in, like being in the same area but seeing things in a different way each time. I just met Henry because V. Schwab is doing such a detailed job at describing everything, every interaction, everything that she sees, and it really gives you this really good, vivid picture of everything. It does take a while to get the plot going, which is fine. I actually don't mind it that much. It just means that I take a little bit longer to read it because I'm taking more breaks, because not a lot is like hooking me in outside of the writing. That like plot wise, not a lot is happening that makes me want to just keep going. Maybe this is just the kind of book that you don't binge, that you just read it bit by bit. I'm on page 139. I want by the end of this day to be at least at page 200 and then set a stretch goal for like page 250. So that will put me like halfway into the book. We have finally reached the end of this video. I have been filming this vlog since March. That's when I read the first book, but it's all good. We have finished it because I finished The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue last night. So I just want to do a quick sort of recap of everything that I've read for this Reading Like Jan AGATON video, and let you know my thoughts and see if me and Jan have similar reading taste, or do I like the books that Jan really loves. The first book that I read for this video is We Spread by Ian Reid. Jan gave this 5 stars, obviously, and I gave this one 4.25 stars. I really enjoyed this. It's a literary horror novel. It talks a lot about aging, about agency of older people, and I guess a lot of the themes of what are the things that you're not able to do now that you're old that you really enjoyed before, or what does it mean to keep trying to do things that you love until the very end, which is kind of sad. This book almost made me like cry because anything that has to do with memory and growing old, I'm kind of like it really tugs at me, and I really enjoyed it. It's also a very short read. That was a good start to the challenge. And then I moved on to A Certain Hunger by Chelsea G. Somers, and I gave it 4 stars. So we're doing good with this challenge. Now this one has really good decadent writing. Like you can really live a little bit vicariously through the narrator in the story, which is kind of odd to say because the narrator in the story is basically a cannibal. So I really enjoyed all of the different descriptions of food, of, I guess, the way that our character feels in the story. You can really like imagine everything very vividly, and there's just a lot of really good writing in here. It took me a while to get used to it because it's very flowery, definitely purple prose, but it feels very necessary to illustrate the passion and the obsession that our character has. That was A Certain Hunger. And then the next book that I read is Normal People by Sally Rooney. I gave this 3.25 stars. Now this is a very popular book and a lot of people really love it, but unfortunately I didn't quite like this one. It's not bad. It's not like I hated it. It's not like that. I don't know. I just didn't connect with it the way that I see other people are connecting with. Was not really annoyed with the characters, but I just didn't care much about them. Maybe if I'm in a different mood, this one will hit me a little bit differently. So I am open to giving this book and also Sally Rooney a chance. If you could recommend me a Sally Rooney book that you think I would like, that would be amazing. But yeah, this one I didn't really vibe with as much, and it kind of put me in a mini reading slump, which is also one of the reasons why this video took so long to film. But yeah, thankfully though, the next book that I read for this video is a hit, is one of my new favorite books of all time, and it is none other than A Dowry of Blood by S.D. Gibson. Now I have been wanting to read this book for so long. Really, this revived my love for reading. Obviously 5 fucking stars. There's so many things about this book that I really enjoyed. The writing was so decadent. It really guts you in the best and worst ways possible. I'm getting goosebumps even now. Just like I'm getting goosebumps just talking about this book. So yeah, A Dowry of Blood. And finally, the final book that I read for this series, which I just read this month, is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. Now, V.E. Schwab, I have a very good relationship with V.E. Schwab. All of the books that I've read by her are some of my favorites. So we have the Shades of Magic series, we have the Villains duology, and now The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. So I had really sort of high expectations, mostly for the writing, because I know that V.E. Schwab can write really poetic and lyrical text, and I just wanted that. I just wanted that, and boy did I get it from this book. This one has some of the most beautiful writing that I've read in a while. It's beautiful but also accessible. Like, you don't need to jump through hoops to really understand what she's trying to say, but it just makes you feel things, it makes you see things, you feel like you're really there with Addie LaRue and everything that she went through from the 1700s up until the early 2010s. I really enjoyed it. I know that there was a lot of criticism about it feeling very repetitive or that it was too long, but I feel like that was kind of the point. When we get to the part where Henry, this bookseller, remembers her, that's like a good 162 pages into the book. Like, it's a big chunk before you get there. And I feel like it wouldn't have hit as hard if we didn't read how fucking long Addie has been living as this forgotten ghost of a being, having a foothold for like a couple of centuries, which is like represented in the 161 pages before Henry remembers her, and then suddenly finding that like gap and like the cliff where you can like put your hand in it and like lift yourself up. I don't know why I'm being so dramatic about this. I feel like if you binge read it, you would get tired of it very easily, but because I read it in kind of like small chunks, like I read it maybe like 30 pages at a time, like a couple of chapters, couple of years in Addie's life at the time, I was really into that rhythm of here we go again, another day where she makes these memories and then gets forgotten, and then I stop reading, and then I read that again, and it just hammered into me this concept of this girl is just being forgotten. This girl is just disappearing every single day, even though she's immortal. And then Henry hits you with the I remember you. I gave this book 4.75 stars. And honestly, I think the only reason why when I did my ratings it didn't get 5 stars was because it was a little bit difficult for me to go through this book because of the whole repetitiveness nature, and that sort of decreased the enjoyment factor that I get from the book. But yeah, 4.75 stars. Still a really good rating. That is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. close off this reading vlog, I read a total of 5 books and my average rating is 4.25 stars, which is really good. And now that I'm like looking back at all of the books that I read for this reading vlog, a lot of it has to do with the passage of time. Addie larue, which is an immortal person, and you get to see her day-to-day life and how that has affected her. We spread aging, a dowry of blood, another immortal being, a certain hunger. While she's just a human being, she does tell us her story from when she was a child up until she was convicted. Normal people, which is also talking about this long period of time where they met when they were in high school or even younger, and then up until they were adults, and just the passage of time and how it has affected their relationships. I did not mean for it to have this one core theme. Something wrote that the books that Jan loves has to do a lot with the passage of time, and that's like very interesting to see. And also make sure you're following Jan because she has pretty good recommendations. Like the ones that she rates 5 stars, pretty damn good. So follow her, the link is in the description. Thank you for watching this reading vlog. I really had fun filming it, and I will see you in the next one.